Nazar Kokan, thank you for a $5 super chat. I want to make the AOS 5 V2 8S with Foxeer Reaper, etc., etc., etc. Good if light. That sounds like a great build. The 1350 kV motors are going to be rock solid on 8S. That's actually, you're going to, frankly, I think you're going to miss some of the mystique of 8S on a 1350 kV motor. Okay, let's do the math. 1350 times 2. That's the equivalent of 2700 kV on 4S. That's not actually that high. So you're going to get some benefit, but the real benefit of going to 8S will be if you use higher kV motors and really start to feel that top-end power. If you're not looking for if you're not looking for top-end power, then 1350 kV is great. But some of the, oh my God, that 8S gives really manifests when you go to higher kV motors like 1500 kV. So I would consider like a 1750 kV motor, and then you will use a motor output limit of like 90% or 85% to bring it down closer to 1500 kV. If you use a 1350 kV motor, that's actually a pretty normal kV. And the real advantage of going to higher voltage is you can use bananas kV to like teleport to the moon. If you're not interested in teleporting to the moon, then you may as well just build a 6S. But that's fine. That build is fine. You're going to love it. But I think that if you're not going to get that, I just teleported to the moon experience. But on the other hand, you will have a usable throttle curve, which also is nice. Continuing to read the super chats. We're about halfway through. Dino FPV said, thank you for a $5 super chat. I just built a Beta FPV 85 with walk snail. I got stutter or frame drop. What could that be? That's going to be hard to figure out just based on a super chat. The first thing I would do is make sure you're not on the public channel. Make sure that the system notices that you're arming. Like temperature protection may make it stay at low power when you're disarmed. And then look down at the bottom of the screen at the bit rate and the latency. And if the latency is just all over the place before you even take off, then you've got interference or you've got bad hardware. Try moving to a different channel. You could be getting interfered by Wi-Fi. These are some of the things that could cause this problem. He says it's walk snail, Black Jungle, not HD0. Bent, thank you for a $5 super chat. Any reason to have telemetry lost and recovered over and over and over? It wasn't doing this before the firmware update. It's a GEP-RC Phantom XM Plus. Well, Bent, telemetry lost and recovered. What firmware did you update? That's the question. Whatever it was, put it back. Put it back. Oh, Black Jungle, I see what you mean. Going back to the super chat from Dino, are you using the HD0 goggles with the Walksnail standalone receiver? Dino FPV. There's an issue, Black Jungle points out, if you have the Walksnail VRX at 100 FPS, it causes stutter on some HD0 goggle firmwares. Dino says yes. Okay. Flash the latest firmware that was released very recently, Dino, and see if that fixes it. That's an issue with the HD0. Thank you, Black Jungle, for that one. Appreciate it. Black Jungle, I did get your box. You were asking earlier. I got the box you sent me. Black Jungle. Oh, there it is. Thank you for 5 Brazilian reais. I did get your box. Liquid Texture. Thank you for a $5 super chat. I've been flying Sims and Tiny Whoops. I'm looking to buy or build a Cine style, but also love freestyle and combining the two. Do you have any recommendations? If you buy a Cinewhoop, it won't fly freestyle great, but it will be able to be freestyled. So if you're interested in building a Cine-style Cine-Whoop, then just buy it and freestyle it as best you can. But any Cine-style Cine-Whoop is not going to fly as good as an open prop 3-inch designed for freestyle. Dalton Upton, thank you for a $5 super chat. I have an God 250. I am using the Fox Zero Reaper AIO. Why can't I get the DJI O3 Air unit to show OSD? User error, most likely. User error. Okay, moving on. We would have to check the wiring, that the TX and the RX wires go to the RX and the TX wires. That we have, then what I would do is I would load the O3 preset. So there are several steps to getting the O3 OSD to work right, and the simplest thing to do is to go to the presets tab in Betaflight and load the O3 preset. And that will make sure you're not missing any of the steps. Saggy Balls, thank you for a $5 super chat. I have O4X goggles. The Avatar and the 1S VTX kit is $249. In terms of performance and picture quality, pros and cons of the O4X with the VRX versus the Avatar goggles. The latency is going to be slightly higher, and you will not be able to do 100 FPS. You will only be able to do 60 FPS. And especially now that they have this race mode that keeps the latency lower, that lack of 100 FPS is going to be more of a thing. I think the biggest thing you're missing is the 100 FPS, and that depends how much you care about latency. But I think that's not nothing. That's not nothing. Alan Lay, thank you for a $5 super chat. I love the OG DJI FOV, but on the O3 FOV, I'm having trouble getting used to it. Me too. It's a really wide FOV. Any tips to make it similar? No. There's nothing you can do to change the FOV of the camera in the goggles. You can change the FOV that's recorded on the air unit, but it doesn't affect what's transmitted to the goggles. The only thing you could do is change the lens on the O3 camera. I don't really know how feasible that is, though. Theoretically, it should be possible. I don't know if anybody's doing it, and I don't know how feasible that is. Peter Garcia, how do I get Betaflight OSD on my DJI Goggles V2? Help me, please. Yes, absolutely, Peter Garcia. Guess what? I just released a video. Is it this one? Yeah. I just released a video. It is this video. DJI V2 goggle. Oh, wait, put it over here. DJI V2 goggle Betaflight HD OSD start to finish guide. Okay? I'm going to put that in the chat. I'm going to ping you, Peter Garcia. That video will show you everything you need to do from start to finish. Like, that made... it's everything you need to do, start to finish. LA Hoverbikes, thank you for a $5 super chat. What prop size would you pick to carry a run cam thumb on 3 to 4S? Freestyle cruiser, 5 to 8 minutes of flight time. I mean... Oh, sub 250. Okay. The answer to what's the best sub 250 is 3.5 inches. If you have to save a little bit of weight, go down to 3 inches. But 3.5 is the sweet spot for sub 250 in terms of perform. I mean, you can build a 5-inch sub 250, but you give up a lot in terms of durability.